Fitness coach worldwide. So you may have some questions or comments. Or anybody have a testimonial if you want to share how it's going with you and your business, your products.
Chris, I've got a question about the Be Lean. I just was talking to someone downtown and they asked me, is it full of coffee? And I went, well, it has got green coffee extract in it. And I was just wondering, is there a difference between green coffee and, you know, the coffee we drink from the cup?
That's a great question, and yes, there's a huge difference. When, like a lot of things, when we cook food, we destroy a lot of the goodness. Most people are familiar with that, right? So when coffee beans are roasted, the green coffee itself, before it's roasted, is full of all kinds of amazing healing compounds. When you roast the coffee, you get rid of all that. All you're left with is concentrated caffeine that has been changed by the roasting process so that it affects your nervous system in a different way, and you get rid of all the healing compounds that will counteract some of that action. So it's an entirely different thing. Green coffee bean extract, which is what's in here, is the green bean that grows before anything's been done with it. It's the raw green bean with all of its healing compounds in it. And so yes, there's a little bit of caffeine intrinsic in it. It's not concentrated like it is in a cup of coffee, but it's in there. However, it's part of all of these healing compounds that have such an amazing effect on the body. And part of that is bringing the metabolism up to the rate it needs to be in order for our bodies to function optimally. That is part of its job. And so, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm a celiac, so is that a suitable...
Oh, thank you so much. Beautiful question. Any kind of contraindications like this, it's vital to be able to address those, so thank you for bringing that in. Pretty much anybody can have this. The only caveat to that is in the Be Pure, which is the cleanse that you take at the beginning. You take it for 1 week. There is no gluten in there. However, there's barley fiber. Barley, in and of itself, is a gluten-containing grain, but the gluten is in the seed, not the fiber. I've yet to find anybody that does have a reaction to that, but there's always 1 in a million you don't know. Someone who's extremely, extremely sensitive, I don't know. There is no gluten in there that's detectable, but that's the only piece. And the only way to find out is to just have a little bit, see what it feels like. There's nothing else in there that is gonna do anything. But that's a really good question. Thank you. Yes?
Is there any sort of acid in it?
Any sort of acid.
Like, how do you keep it fresh? How does
It comes, it's a dried powder.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it comes as a dried powder, you mix it with water and you drink it. Yeah. All of these are powders that you mix up and drink.
So when you're taking all that, do you still take the
Body Balance?
Body Balance?
Optimally, yes,
Yeah.
because they're two completely different things.
Yeah.
And we haven't really said much about Body Balance today, but that is a foundational product for health. Because, thank you. For those of you, does anybody not know what Body Balance? Do you know what Body Balance is? No, you don't. Okay. So this is a drink that you drink every day to give your body the foundation it needs to really start building optimum health. So in here is 9 different kinds of seaweed, and it's in a base of organic aloe vera. So it's a very simple thing. It's got some black cherry in there to make it taste good. It's something that we've been drinking for 15 years. I wouldn't be without it. And what it does is it fills in all those gaps that are missing from our diet, our lifestyle, all of the things that Michael mentioned before. Even if we're eating really good, top quality organic food, we're still not getting it all. And we know that because we've had experience with that.
And I can tell you what happened to me when I started drinking Body Balance regularly. First of all, I noticed I started eating less. So I eat about a third less than I used to eat. And that's true for a lot of people who use this product. So that in and of itself would be a pretty spectacular thing. But even more importantly, my immune system's operating at top efficiency. I used to get virtually every cold that came in within a meter of me. I would get it, and I just knew that. So I'd have about 3 colds or 4 colds a year during the season. In 15 years, I've only had 3 colds. So my immune system's really, really, really strong. My ability to heal is dramatically improved. It used to take about 2 weeks, 14 days to heal over for a cut. It takes 8 days now. So I'm pretty bulletproof from an immune point of view. Even more importantly, though, is brain function. I was probably felt like I was getting old, like a lot of people. Couldn't remember things, couldn't focus. Was a little bit cranky, old person crankiness, stressed. What I found out is I was simply depriving. I was malnourished in my brain, is what it was. Once I started drinking this, it's like the lights went on. It's like the window shade rolled up. I was able to focus and concentrate like a younger person. My memories got better, long-term and short-term. I was able to be in the world and not be stressed. I was a nicer person to be around, probably. I won't guarantee that, but I was less stressed. And a whole host of other things. Immune, digestive system started getting more regular, easier to digest. And a whole host of other things. So a lot of people get a lot of different results. I mean, I didn't have any long-standing chronic things like asthma or allergies or diabetes, but a lot of people who have these really serious issues will stand up in a meeting like this and say, I've had this for 15 years and it's gone. Now, we can't make any medical claims, but let's just say this. As Krista said, when the gaps are filled in nutritionally, the body starts operating properly. And these things that people have are symptoms of a body out of whack, just like weight imbalance is a symptom of something. It's not the problem, it's a symptom of the problem. And this starts filling in those gaps, and these things start resolving themselves. People go, well, that stuff's a miracle. We say, no, it's just high-quality superfood. And it's food. It's not a bunch of stuff a guy in a lab jacket put in a jar and said, here it is. This is superfood. This is how the body was designed to operate, with food, not with chemicals. So the only thing we can say is try it. It's 3 months guarantee again. And if you don't like it, if you're not getting the results you want, the company doesn't want your money. They just want you to be happy with the product. They want you to be a lifetime customer. They don't want you to just buy a bottle or 2. There's not much.
Yeah, so this is what I put in my body every morning, first thing. That's it. That's what starts my day. And I mean, we eat really well. We have the resources to be able to buy the best food and all of that, which is a real gift. But I find I still need it every day. I wouldn't be without it, because my quality of life is really important to me. There are things I want to do in the world. I want to have the energy. I want to have the health to be able to do the things I want to do. And so this is just like my touchstone, absolutely. And I've also had really amazing benefit from drinking this. And it wasn't like I woke up the next morning and went, wow, I feel different. It was over time. So,
Sorry, Kristen, I'm just going to speaker.
that's okay. Lovely to
see
see you. Yeah, so,
So, just to go back to the question, when you're doing the weight program,
yeah, great.
you don't have to take that as well, but it's good to do.
You don't have to take that as well, but because it does a very different thing and it supports your body nutritionally in a different way than this does, if you can do both, that's optimum.
Right,
Yeah.
And again,
Absolutely.
you can get that for free if you refer it to 3 people and they use it. Yours is free.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Good question. So, what else? Any other questions that people have? Or anything else you want to know? Any question at all that hasn't been addressed for you?
have
Yeah.
a question in regards to the B-lean.
Okay.
I'm drinking some right now.
Yes.
And what happens is there's a sediment that goes to the bottom,
Uh-huh.
which I just shake in and I drink it. And
Yeah.
I just wonder what is that, I'm imagining it's the green coffee thing, but I don't know whether that's true or not. I just kind of wonder what that, there's more of a rough it.
Mhm.
What is that part?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
I've been guessing it's the African mango, or the
Okay.
mango steam.
I was
It's
guessing
the outer,
it's the
It could be
raspberries.
the
outer paraphrase.
I mean, it could be anything. The mango steam rind is what's in there. So it could be that.
Yeah.
Because that's not soluble like the other plant extracts that are in there. So it could be that.
Yeah, okay.
But
I was kind of interested in it,
yeah, I really don't know. Yeah.
Krista, if you don't like it, you can add it to something else and drink it too, can't you?
Great point. Thank you. Yes. For people that find the taste a little weird, I mean, I love it. I think it's a great taste, but everybody's taste buds are different. You can add it to whatever you want. I mean, as long as you get it in your system, it's going to work.
Even coffee. Just kidding. Actually, probably would work with cold coffee.
Someone the other night added it to gin or something.
Yeah, as long as you get it in.
But yeah, I mean, whatever way you can get it into your body, and the same with the body balance. There's very few people that don't like the taste, but there's always the odd person that just, it tastes a little strange.
Orange juice or something.
Yeah, whatever you can do. It's not going to affect it's not going to change the effectiveness of it. Yeah, absolutely. It does taste like, it has dried raspberry powder in there, so that's like the predominant taste is the raspberry. But there's also, because there's a lot of plant extracts in there, there's like that herbal backbite that comes with it too, so, which is a little bitter and some people find that a bit difficult. Yeah.
It changes as my weeks have gone on. It was really a little unpleasant when I first used it, and now it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not fabulous, but it's. I don't dread it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's familiar, so it's great.
that's great,
And
yeah.
I'm losing weight so fast, I kind of like it.
It gets better with every kilo gone, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have a small group of people. There are 9 people in New Zealand who are on a test program because the program is on its way here. It'll be released in New Zealand the beginning of March, and Alison is one of the test babies. So we're very excited to watch what's happening.
So you're
How's it
taking
going?
the whole 3.
Yes.
And how's it going for you so far?
Well, it's really amazing, actually. There's been a little effort. I've been a little bit hungry from time to time, and I'm using the gratitude to the company. But if I was buying it, it would be gratitude to myself to supply that. It's quite easy to get through that hunger, and I have gained techniques where when I do get a feeling, I just focus on the feeling, and if I focus on it, like really for about 6 minutes, the feeling goes, or it moves through my body and moves out of my body, and it's just been really interesting. Most of my hunger hasn't been in my belly, it's been lower than that or higher than that, and it's not been hunger at all. It's been ways of distracting myself.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and I've sort of known that, but it's just been really good to sit with that and be with that without judgment and just think, well, this is my freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it might pay to mention it's already been beta tested in USA.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we've been working with a group of people in America because that's where it was developed, and so we had the products over there. They've been available to the testers for about 5 months now, and they were released for sale to the general public last month in January. So we've had about 6 months of working with a test group of people, and we had a large test group. There was almost 100 people in that group over there, because we really wanted to see what does this product do for people across the board, like very severely obese people, people who aren't interested in their health, never have been, never exercise, people who are health conscious, women who have had children and have that last 5 kilos that they've never been able to get rid of, you know, so young people, older people, just like we had this broad spectrum of people, because we wanted to see, you know, regardless of who uses it, what happens. And in every single case, we've had amazing results.
So is that them using the whole
Some
system,
people,
or
some
just-
people have just been doing this. Some people have been doing these two. Some people have been doing the whole thing. And then we've also got a whole diet program, exercise program as part of it too.
Oh, yeah.
Some people have been doing all that. So it's been varying pieces that people have been doing.
So have you found what is the best?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. But adding in the exercise and the diet.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. The more we can incorporate the whole thing, then obviously the more effective it's going to be.
But the results aren't totally conditional on doing everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
exactly.
Just
wondering what
using-
has proven to
Yeah,
be the
Yeah, that's a good question. That's what's proven to be most effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just talking about that, do you know what the sort of variation between somebody who was just using the Be Lean to
Mhm.
somebody that did the whole program and the exercise and the other bit,
Mm-hmm.
between, you know, was someone just losing half a kilo a week and someone losing 2 kilos or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to specifically answer that question
Yeah.
because a lot of the people who were on kind of that end of the weight spectrum
Yeah,
were carrying a lot of fluid, and
Yeah.
so that starts going quite quickly,
okay,
and so they were losing like weight
yeah,
quite quickly at first, and that
Yes.
slowed down
Yes.
after a while. But yes, yeah. So and the Be Lean does that.
okay,
So whatever piece of this they were doing, as long as they were doing the Be Lean, that was happening.
okay.
So
So how many of them a week can I eat or a day?
people take 2 of these a day when you're on the program. So 1 in the morning, 1 in the early afternoon. Sometimes people will do 2 of these, depending on what kind of results you want. Or there's a program where you just do 1 meal replacement a day instead of 2. You know, it depends on finances, it depends on what you want to do, you know, etc.
But if it works out at $11 a day,
That's with 1 meal replacement.
yeah, $11 for a meal is a cheap meal, especially if
I
you travel.
know.
I mean, like I travel all the time and I have to buy somewhere, and it's
Oh,
very easy
right,
to buy
yeah.
it from the takeaway places.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is not going to be $11.
No.
It's good,
It might
right?
be if you go to McDonald's, but you know,
Sure.
yeah.
Keep your head
Not
like
gonna
a
do
drum.
that.
Right, absolutely.
So $11 to me it looks like a good way just to have a meal.
Mhm.
And
If-
free is even better.
Yeah.
Oh,
If,
neat from home.
if you do the 2 meal replacements, it's $16 a day.
Yeah.
And so that brings each meal down to $8 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Just to go into Phil's question, can you overdo the Be Lean? Like, could you have 4 a day? And what,
That's a
would
good
that
question.
be better,
And
or would it be
yeah,
bad
I
for
think
you?
I think you could overdo the Be Lean. Yes, I do. I think people could get a little too wired by doing too much.
Tone you
You
more,
know,
Phil.
pushing.
We need to tone you down.
Right, we need to tone you down a bit. Yeah, right.
I
We
just wanna
got
find my
sunset for that.
Yeah, right. We've got another product for that.
Please give it to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I think because it is such a powerful product, I think you could overdo it. The way the program's set up, I think for me, that's what I would follow. And be patient. You know, just doing it healthily as you go along in the way that's recommended is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And I've just
when you're losing weight and you get to your ideal weight and you keep taking it, do you actually keep on losing weight?
No. What will happen is that, I mean, I'm doing, look at me, right? I'm doing 1 Be Lean a day right now. I haven't lost any weight except a little bit around my belly. I had a little kind of pouchy thing going on, which isn't there anymore. And I know that for me, I'm still the same size. There hasn't been a long enough time yet for people to go, okay, I'm there, I'm done, I'm at my ideal weight, let's just see what happens. What I have noticed though is that the people who have been on it for a few months, who were in the original beta test group, most of those people still do 1 Be Lean a day as a maintenance thing because they feel so good and their body is working at optimum.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm not weight conscious. I don't care how much I weigh. I want to know how I feel. And I feel better and lighter and more agile and more mobile using this. So I'll probably keep using it.
So you're doing the whole thing still, or just doing the
Yeah,
bit?
no, I'm mostly doing this, and
Yeah.
mostly because of availability.
Yeah.
It's just that we have some samples here, but it's not available. So I have done this and this,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm just doing the Be Lean right now.
So the Be Lean will keep your metabolism.
Yeah, it keeps your metabolism
Yeah.
going at the healthy rate that enables your body to work at its optimum.
Yeah, if your metabolism could be the same as a 29-year-old, you would probably have a better life.
Yeah.
And it's aging.
And if
It's
you do
one of
want
the
a
big.
piece of cake, it's not the end of the world because you're going to
Right.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's really about balance too, you know? I mean, you can go to the other end of, extreme, which is what I did for a long time. And that was not healthy.
Yeah.
That imbalance isn't healthy either. It's about enjoying life, hey, but doing it in a way that's healthy. Yeah. Yeah.
What about children?
What about children? I wouldn't do this with children. Children, unless there's some really extreme circumstance, children naturally have a much higher metabolism rate than an adult. They don't need that. What children need is body balance. That's what children need.
I've tried to get my
But the-
13-year-old to take it. She doesn't like the taste.
Yeah. Have you tried mixing it with different
No,
things?
she's
Orange
really...
juice?
Mix it with
no,
black.
she's really
What about
messy.
black currant juice? That's a great thing to mix it with.
Yeah.
Mix it with Ribena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Could-
can
Benji
eat
tried
it. I've got 3
Poison
kids,
fruit.
and they've all been drinking it. And one of them, when they first started drinking it, I could see that obviously one of them struggled, and they all stuck with it. To start with, I just drank it, but then they all wanted it because I was having it. So that was how my process kicked in. But I could see my son struggled with it a lot more, and I suspect his system was more acidic.
Yes.
And so after, probably a month or a month and a half, he was taking it and I noticed he didn't have like a cringe or he just didn't have, and I said to him, it's tasting different for you, isn't it? And he said, yeah, it is. So to start with, he found it hard, but actually it balanced his system reasonably quickly till when he didn't have that same thing going on. So sometimes just giving them over that hurdle, I was surprised, but I just noticed that myself and said, what's going on? And he goes, yeah. He admitted it actually tasted different to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, however you can get it into your children, just get it in there.
Hold your nose.
Right?
I'm-
I wonder, when you're talking about children and adults, and then we have a whole group of teenagers. And
Yes.
teenagers, nowadays, they struggle with weight.
Yeah,
We were just
they do.
talking yesterday, how there's so much cellulose that teenagers carry that they never used to carry. So from what age onwards can we recommend it for people?
It would depend on the body type. I would think an older teenager, like 15, 16, 17, not a problem. Somebody younger than that, it would depend on their body type. I mean, if they were unusually slow, plodding, whatever, 12 to 15, I wouldn't do it under 12.
Now, how about to be full? Like, if you have a kid that snacks a lot.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I know when I have
Be
to be
full's
full,
great.
I just don't even.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat if
Yeah.
I wanted to.
No, this is great. Anyone can take that.
Yeah,
Not a problem. I was just talking about this piece.
but that's a good
Yeah. Yeah.
And
cheap snacks.
how would it help, or would it help at all if you have food allergies?
Ah, good question. Food allergies, I would go to Body Balance. That's where I would go with food allergies. Because
there's aloe vera in it, so
there's aloe vera, unless you're extremely allergic to aloe barbadensis, which is a very specific form of aloe, and it is the inner gel of the aloe, not the whole leaf. Sometimes people will have a reaction if you buy aloe vera juice and try and drink it. The whole leaf is being juiced. There is something in the rind of aloe that actually really reacts with a lot of people. This is not in there. This is not in there. This is just the gel out of the middle. There's a very simple test you can do if you have, you know, an idea that maybe this is not for me because of allergies. You can actually put this inner part of the arm that's very sensitive, you just put some of the juice on there, let it dry, leave it there for about 20 minutes, and watch and see if your skin gets red, itchy, erupting, you know, then you're reacting to it. If there's no reaction, then I would say try it. Dilute it in water. Sip it like that, and then just let your system get used to it that way. Yeah, one of the things that happens with allergies is that usually there's a nutritional imbalance at the basis of it. And so it's kind of like, you know, the cart before the horse. Which way do we go?
Would you then later on also use the EV?
Yeah, I would do that first. I'd do
Yeah.
that first. Yeah, and see if we can address, you know, some of those imbalances so that there isn't such a reactive process going on in your system. Yeah. And you know that it's very pertinent what you're asking, because there is so many allergies, so many intolerances, and more and more all the time.
Yeah, the environmental stresses. This is the stress of daily life with cell phones and television and traffic, and people's nutritional requirement has escalated dramatically. Our grandparents didn't need as much, and they had better food, arguably. Now we're getting worse food, and our need has risen. So no wonder it's all topsy-turvy.
Yeah, the more stress the body's under, the higher the nutrient requirement. And it's the higher the nutrient requirement, it's not just like a few more, it's like it escalates. It's amazing how much the body needs the higher the stress level.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of men with gray hair, and women too. Their hair starts going back to natural color when they start doing body balance.
Thank goodness.
Believe it. And that's pretty remarkable when you think about it. Because you ever heard of somebody going gray overnight because of the stress of something?
Yeah, absolutely.
We can watch it go back.
I got red hair, which is very grey, but I went grey overnight. But I do know that in a better nutritional thing, my colour comes back. So
Oh,
it is
interesting.
So
There we
it's
go.
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know when, like, we've been drinking this 15 years, the Body Balance, and I was noticing a few grey hairs in my head 15 years ago. I don't have any now.
Yeah.
And that's 15 years on.
I won't have
What's that?
I said my pocket's full.
Michael, that's more. Yeah.
It comes and goes, believe it or
It
not.
does
I
come
think
and go.
about
Yeah, it's interesting.
3 or 4 months ago, I had a lot less gray hair.
Yeah.
So, and who knows what 3 or 4 months will bring.
Yeah.
It just has to do with stress. We've been traveling a lot and had some other things going on.
Are there any negative effects from taking more Body Balance than is recommended? 2
What-
glasses a day.
Great question. Body Balance is one of those things that you can take as much as you want. I drink half a bottle a day, on average. I can sit and drink literally a whole bottle, and it doesn't really affect me that much. The only thing that will happen if people drink too much of it for their system is that they will start getting diarrhea, which is the same as what you would do if you ate too many apples. Or their system would get a little wired where they can't sleep properly. That's the only kind of quote-unquote negative thing that would happen.
But, thinking about trace minerals, the product is formulated to have certain ratios of different trace elements. If you're drinking a lot more, you'd have a lot more trace elements. Would that affect the way your body works, or would they just be eliminated?
The ratio is
naturally?
exactly the same. Obviously, the ratio is the ratio. It's what's in there.
Yeah.
It's just you're getting more of it. However, they're all water soluble, so whatever your body doesn't use, it just eliminates.
So your body will only,
It
your body needs a certain amount.
Yeah.
It will
and
take
if
what
there's
it
an
needs.
excess, it'll just pass it through.
Yeah.
Would take a lot.
But it will take a lot for that to happen. Yes. Yeah.
Going back to the allergy question that came from here, I have a lady who she she became very highly allergic to many things, and she started getting all sorts of things happening in her body. And so we did the test, and she came up with a rash. And she got to a point where she went like, stuff it, I'm going to take it anyway. Because, you know, how else is my body going to come back into balance? That horse before the cart thing, you know, what am I going to do? At the moment, I have a really, really limited diet, and I'm on drugs, you know, otherwise. And so, you know, for that to come back. So she just started taking a teaspoon a day in a glass of water. And now she's up to 30 ounces, I think, in a glass of water. You know, so it's the body, as the body comes into balance, but it's taken time. I think she's
Said
probably
30 mil or 30 ounces?
30 mil, thank you. Oh my God. 30 ounces. Woo.
It's a bottle.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point, because the same thing happened with my mother. She's the only person in 15 years that I've found who is truly allergic to Body Balance. Some people have a detox response, right? So we're full of all these toxins, and when our bodies start working properly, we have to get rid of those toxins somehow. And so, you know, you can get a skin rash, you can get headaches, you can, you know, there's things that happen when our bodies are detoxing. That's a very different thing.
So you wouldn't do first.
I'm sorry?
You wouldn't do first actually the detox with your speech.
You could do this.
Yeah, you could do that.
Absolutely. This
Yeah.
would be wonderful. This would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, my mother was the one person, and she actually has almost like an anaphylactic shock response to seaweed, and which she'd completely forgotten about because she never eats it, right? And the first time she drank Body Balance, she ended up in hospital in an oxygen tent. And so,
Great, thanks, Donna.
right? However, she's so funny. She said, I'm going to persevere and I'm going to take this because I never felt so good as when I took that. The only thing was I couldn't breathe. So she did exactly what Francisca was talking about. She started with 1/4 of a teaspoon. It took her 2 years to get to 120 mils a day, which she now takes every day, no problem, and she's amazing.
So it's probably helped with the allergy bladder.
Oh, she has like allergies up the creek, all over the place. And yes, it's helped her amazingly.
Well, I guess because every person is different.
Yes.
You have to
Yes,
adjust things
you
right
do.
for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's important to
The body
respect that.
actually tells you when
Mhm.
you have enough or when it's enough. And
Yep, absolutely. Really, really important to listen to that.
Yeah.
But still, most people can drink the recommended amount. No?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's probably the safest product I've ever found. You know, we've had babies on it. We've had people who are really, really, really ill. I've even had people who have had it like through a feeding tube. I mean, it's that safe.
Crystal, with fish oils these days, you know, everyone's got them and they'll talk about it, and the mercury thing. Is there a similarity with the sea vegetables and what they absorb
That's
in,
great. Yeah.
in the environment?
It's a really good question. The sea vegetables that are used in Body Balance, the answer to that is there's a certain amount. Seaweed doesn't absorb that like sea creatures do. That their whole way of getting nutrients is completely different. Shellfish are the worst because they're the livers of the ocean. Their job is to absorb toxic stuff from the water. Seaweed is a very different thing. So from that perspective, no, there's not the same thing. However, you know, if the water is highly contaminated, I wouldn't eat seaweed out of it.
No, that's right.
So the sea vegetables that we use in Body Balance go through rigorous testing. And they're tested for pesticide runoff, herbicide runoff, radioactive isotopes, heavy metals, I mean, you name it. There's this huge list of stuff that they get tested for. completely outside of Life Force. It's actually a US government lab that tests it. And it has to be clear before it's able to be used, consumed legally by humans, being able to be sold, you know, and
In
consumed.
any form.
So, so we're really fortunate that we have that available, because otherwise who knows. So yes, ours is very, very, very clean.
I did a herbal detox maybe a year ago, and I just lost strength after halfway through the program. I need to be strong because I have a lot of responsibilities, and yeah, I just found that it just depleted what, and I couldn't perform the way that I was anticipating to. So that loss of strength through the detox, that's a week long.
This is a week long. It depends on, there's different ways to detox. And there's a difference between detoxing and not putting anything back, and detoxing and replenishing with the good stuff. That's a very different thing. And so yes, when you detox, when you fast, when you do anything like that, those toxins have got to come out, and you are going to get tired because it's running around in your bloodstream before it leaves your body. But if you feed your body something to not stop that process but support your body through that, then you won't lose that energy in the same way.
So would you use the body balance for that?
Use the body balance. This will do it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think we all anticipate the year ahead and what we need to do to be able to get from here to there.
Right.
So
absolutely.
So yeah, so definitely.
So when
You
you
know,
take
the other
that
thing
one,
you can do too is if you start feeling that, you just cut back.
Yeah, stop it.
so do
drink
you
more
take
water.
that one with those other
Yeah.
ones at the same
Yeah.
time?
So this you do for the first week
Yeah.
Along
of the
with
program.
this. and
Along with
with
these two.
that.
along with, yeah.
But you just do that for 1 week, and then for the rest of the month you just do these two.
And then you do it again the next
And then you do it again the next
Okay,
month.
so if the first
Yeah, you
week
wanna
Right,
you
the
do
first
that,
week of every
Keep
month,
getting rid of this
that's what
stuff.
you do.
You don't want it backing up. If
Yeah.
it comes off your fat cells and sits in
Yeah.
your body, you
It's
don't
going to
want
go back
So
on.
once again, is that a powder that you?
Yeah.
It's a powder that you mix with
Yeah.
water. Also, same thing.
And I've been notified that we're coming to the end of our time, our formal time. Krista, you'll be available?
Oh, I'm
Individually,
here. If
so
anybody
can ask
still has
questions.
questions or anything, absolutely.
Yeah, same with me. So
Yeah.
if you have
Love to do
allergies
that.
to poverty, we're here to.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Awesome.
Really appreciate it.